It's called the tabernacle. It's called Mishkan. Mishkan comes from the root shochen, to dwell, that God dwells in this particular tent. It's a tent, and inside the tent is the Ark of the Covenant, the seven-branch candlestick. There we go. And also the priests would officiate there. And most of the heavy-duty sacrifices were offered outside the tent because you got to have the smoke go someplace. All right, and later on I'll be talking about what the high priest wore. I tried to print out a picture of it, but it just wouldn't go because it was an image, and they get all etchy-petchy about images. All right, but I do have some description for you. Let's begin the service on page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On page 14, we'll sing the Yedid Nefesh in the English. So may loving God, compassion's gentle source, take my disposition and shape it to your will. Page 14. Like a darting deer, will I rush to you, before your glorious presence, humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other dainty will my hunger still. How splendid is your light, illumining the world. My soul is weary, yearning for your love's delight. Please, good God, to heal her, reveal to her your face, the pleasure of your presence, bathed in your grace. She will find strength and healing in your sight. Forever will she serve you, grateful with all her might. Die, 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 Thank you for coming. I'm sure you're wondering why I asked you all to come here. We'll begin the service sort of on page 15. Nikadma fana bitoda Vizmirot Arialo Kiel Gadol Adonai Hu Melech Gadol Al Kol Elohim. All right, page 15 on the left. We're going to read responsively, or as an 8-year-old girl once said from the pulpit, let's read responsibly. So this is the psalm where God reveals he didn't really like the Israelites very much. Let us sing to Adonai. Let us rejoice in our Creator. Let us greet God with thanksgiving, singing psalms of praise. Together, Adonai is the foundation of all life, exalted beyond all that is worshipped. In God's hand rests the world he fashioned, sea and land, abyss and mountain peak, all are God's. Let us worship Adonai, exalt our Creator, our God. We are the flock guided by God. Help is ours even today, if only we would listen to the divine voice. Harden not your heart in the way of your ancestors, who tried and tested me in the wilderness, even though they had witnessed my miracles. 40 years of contending with that generation led me to say, they are wayward and care not for my ways. In indignation therefore did I vow, never would they reach my land, the land of peace, the land of rest. On page 15, why is God so cranky?
Well, he wasn't treated with respect.
Okay, all right. Well, they did complain a lot.
Yeah, considering all that God did for the Israelites.
Yes, well, there's this particular episode where they come to a place called Mara, which means bitter, which really should have been the giveaway. And they try to drink the water, and behold, it's bitter. So Moses scouts around, and he finds some sort of plant, some sort of stalk, and he tosses it into the water, and the water becomes sweet. How on earth could he have found sugarcane in the middle of the Sinai desert?
It's a miracle.
Oh, of course, there you go. All right. It's sad though, because this is he's talking to the Dor Hayetziyah, that is the generation of the Exodus, and they're not going to enter the land. They're all going to die in the wilderness because of the sin of anybody know?
Korah?
No, that was bad. Something about a
golden calf?
A calf, yes,
Oh,
the
yeah.
golden calf. That's right. Were they worshiping the golden calf?
No.
Yes, according to Cecil B. DeMille. But in real life, they weren't. They were worshiping the invisible god Baal, who rides upon a calf. Sometimes he rides upon a bull. It's a potency thing, you see? So that was why God wasn't happy. And Moses, of course, grinds the calf to powder. He mixes it with river water, and he forces the Israelites to drink of it. It's sort of the biblical equivalent of eating crow. Okay? All right, let's move on.
Excuse me, interrupt. Sir?
Sir, it's right here. Him, yes.
You left your car on, and you're right, it's still running.
I don't think
Sorry
Moses.
to
I
interrupt.
don't think Moses had that problem. Since your chariot is making a strange noise. Yeah. Okay, page 17. Adonai malach tagel haaretz yisnechuim rabim ahanan varafel seviva sedek umishpat b'chon kiso. Most psalms are, I'm in trouble, God, please help me. But these are not. These are historical. Well, not historical, because the Torah is not historical, but they do have a certain traditional bent on them. All right, let's take it from the middle of the psalm in the English. I'm with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stanzas from the top, and we'll do it responsibly. Shame covers those who worship idols, those who take pride in revering images, which must themselves bow low before God. Together, hearing of your judgments, Adonai, Zion exults, and the cities of Judah rejoice. You are supreme over all the earth, highly exalted beyond all that is worshipped. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the faithful and saves them from the wicked. Light is stored for the righteous, joy for the honorable. Rejoice in Adonai, you who are righteous. Acclaim the holiness of God's name. And the last two lines of the Hebrew. Or zarol atzadik u'liyishrei lev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'hodu l'zecher kadsho. I'd like to point out that Rabbi Jules Harlow, who translated the prayer book, at least this prayer book, passed away just a couple of weeks ago. After he retired, he got the idea that there was a tribe in Vietnam that claimed to be Jewish. So he traveled there and he worked with converting those people for a good amount of time. Then he went back to New York City, where those sorts of activities are considered normal. On page, here we go, page 21. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Keep and remember were uttered as one by our Creator beyond comparison. Adonai is one, His name is one, reflected in glory, in fame, and in praise. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Come, let us greet Shabbat, Queen sublime, fountain of blessings in every clime, anointed and regal since earliest time. In thought she preceded creation 6 days. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Page 22, the last stanza. Please rise and look at the doors through which the Sabbath Queen will enter. Ohi v'shalom ha'teref Allah, kan v'simcha u'tzala, toch emunei am segula. Ohi chala, lecha dodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please remain standing. The time has come to light the Shabbat candles. Ma'am, would you care to do that? The Shabbat candles? Yes, being the only lady here besides my wife. Oh, my wife. Okay, don't tell her what I said, please.
No.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
For morning?
Morning?
This is for candles.
It's for, yes, it's
I
really,
can light it.
it's
No,
really
Lighting
okay.
candles
Yes.
to bring people in for morning. yeah.
No, that's, we have different
Fine, and
candles.
we're gonna say the prayer together, yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. Mr. Baum, how do you do? Okay,
Oh, great.
okay. Yes, the trick is to see if the thing is going to light.
We're gonna do it together. Okay.
All right, we wave our hands over the candles, bringing Shabbat.
For the morning.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu lahadlik ner, V'tzivanu lahadlik ner, V'tzivanu lahadlik ner, shel Shabbat. Amen. Be seated, thank you so much.
Good job.
Yes, good job. We turn to page 23. This is the Shabbat Psalm. We do it tonight and we do it tomorrow morning as well. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat. Reading silently.
Yeah. The 7 people in the room,
23.
here.
last four lines. Tzadika Taman Yithra Yeres Halvanon Iske Shiturim Bebeit Adonai B'chatzrot Eloheinu Navrihu Oyenu Tiseya Tishenim Pirananim Yehu V'Hamid Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri Ve'lo. You can put the prayer books aside. This is the portion of the service where we discuss the Parshat HaShavua, that is the weekly Torah portion for this particular Shabbat. You can see that we're getting towards the end of Shemot, that is the book of Exodus, which is really a shame because it's got drama, it's got personalities, it's got a Pharaoh who thinks he knows everything, and Moses who actually does know everything. But you can't stop it. It's like with the Genesis, you fall in love with the characters. Currently, I'm reading The Red Tent. Anybody read The Red Tent by Anita Diamond? It's been many years since I've gotten up the gumption to read the thing. I always thought it was a chicklet. You know, you've got dicklet and chicklet, guy books and lady books. Well, anyway. Okay, but this Torah portion coming towards the end of the book of Exodus and coming on to Leviticus. Leviticus is right smack in the middle of the Torah. It is the shortest of the 5 books. It is all laws of purity and laws of sacrifice. I always felt sorry for the bar bat mitzvah kids who got stuck with Leviticus because there's no there there. There isn't really any drama or anything like that. You just have to go out to the flocks and choose a sheep or a goat or a chicken or something that is perfect. It doesn't have a broken foot or anything. Okay, but this particular Torah portion is kind of dramatic because it starts out with Aaron and his 4 sons. Interestingly, we don't know anything about Mrs. Aaron, but she must have been quite a strong woman to have 4 little boys running around the tent at the same time. But what happens here, it's called titzaveh, which means you shall command. God does a lot of commanding. He really does. He still does it to us today. We have to decide for ourselves which mitzvot we want to do. If you're Orthodox, you really have no choice because you got to do everything. Except there are a lot of mitzvot that aren't relevant to our particular time and place. What happens here? God tells Moses to receive from the children of Israel pure olive oil to feed the everlasting flame of the menorah. There it is. Okay, 7 branches. 7 branches. 7 is a sacred number in ancient times. How many planets were visible in ancient times? 7. How many times do we wrap the tefillin around our arm? 7. What floor did the rabbi grow up on? 7. You know that 7 is a sacred number. Okay. But my question is, where did they get the olive oil? Did they rip it off from the Egyptians? It's not like they could stop and plant olives and the thing grows. We just don't know. You see, there are a lot of anachronisms in the Torah. It could very well, this section could have been written later on when they did have olive farms and things like that. I always felt strange in places like Winn-Dixie where they have the olives on display right there in the middle of the store, and you have the cough and sneeze barrier that never really works on top. You've got your salted olives, your unsalted olives, black olives, green olives, and I always wanted to meet the guy whose job it was to put the pimento into the olive. That is precision work. All right, so what happens is the flame had to burn forever. Was it always 7 branches? It was not. Sometimes they ran low and they only did 3 branches. Sometimes they only did 1 branch. And whoever invented that 1 branch method said, this is a good idea, let's keep it. See? That's where the Ner Tamid comes from. All right. Priestly garments. As I said, I had a picture of it, but there isn't. Right now, I've got it in my phone. But the priest, Aaron was the high priest. He is supposedly a very modest fellow. It's his duty in life, his obligation to make peace between Jews. It goes like this. If he heard that Chaim was angry with Yankel, he would go to Chaim and he would say, Chaim, yes, Aaron, what can I do for you? He says, oh, Chaim, Yankel is so upset that you're mad at him. He said that if you make peace with him, he'll make peace with you. And Chaim, of course, would say, how can I resist the great Aaron? You tell him, I'll make peace with him anytime. Then he would go to Yankel and tell him the same story. So eventually Chaim and Yankel would go on and make peace. Do Jews always live in peace with each other?
No.
Come on, haven't you met some people that you really can't abide?
Yes.
I mean, unless whatever it is. Okay, so what are the parts of the Kohanim? The outfits that they wore. Not all the time. They didn't wear it when they went to the supermarket. They wore it only when they were serving God in the holy shrine. The kutonet was a full-length linen tunic. Michnasayim is linen breeches. Michnasayim is still popular today. If you go in Tel Aviv and you go, I don't know if the mashpir, if the department store is still in business, but michnasayim means pants, you see. So that has stuck with us. Mitznefet or migba'at, that's a linen turban. When I did Jewish current events on Wednesday night, I told the story of a young Orthodox girl named Elka. She's 26, 31, Veves, and she started her own business to make scarves. She didn't want to wear the sheitel, that is the wig. She didn't want to wear the tichel, which is the everyday sort of cloth. Instead, she made these lovely sorts of scarves which can be wrapped around your head, wrapped around your neck, wrapped over your arm, whatever it is. And there was one of the models was a man, and he was wearing it like a turban. I didn't think turbans would ever catch on with Jewish people. You never know. And the avnate, which is the long sash worn around the waist. But the Kohen Gadol was special. He had to wear extra garments. He wore an ephod, which is an apron-like garment made of blue, purple, and red dyed wool, linen and gold thread. The choshen, okay, the choshen. I love the choshen. Some women wear a teeny tiny piece of jewelry in the shape of the choshen. It's square, and it contains 12 precious and semi-precious stones. And the story of the choshen is as follows. You could tell the future with the choshen. When King David was about to go into battle against the Philistines, he would have the high priest put on the choshen and come out to talk to him, and he would say, am I going to win against the Philistines? And if it lit up, he was going to win. If it didn't light up, he didn't win. And I think there's a direct line of history from the choshen to the magic 8-ball. Okay, moving along here. The me'il, a cloak of blue wool with gold bells and decorative pomegranates on its hem. And finally, because he was the high priest, he wore the tzitz, which was a head sort of thing, a golden plate worn on the forehead, and it said, Kadosh Ladonai, holy to God. They were getting ready to dedicate the Mishkan, but bad things are going to happen. Anybody know the bad things? It's Nadav and Avihu. It's the two older boys.
They died because they went into the sacred space?
Right. Nobody knows. Absolutely nobody knows. It's possible that when they were mixing up the incense that they were going to use during the ceremony, they got it wrong. Right after that episode, where the two of them are stricken by divine lightning, there is a mention that you should not drink strong drink before you enter into the precincts of the shrine. And from that, certain rabbis studying the text said, oh, they must have had a drink before they went in. You know, thank God this doesn't happen to me, but there are some people who, if they're going to speak in public, they need a shot of some sort of alcohol to give them the strength to do it. This is probably racist, but they used to call it Dutch courage. Okay? All right. Well, any questions? Thank you for your attention. Here we go. All right. Robert, would you like to open the order? All please rise. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Li'olam Va'ed. Amen. Please be seated. We're going to read on 28, the bottom left. And this is in honor of, I don't know the number of the mission, but they landed on the moon again?
Yes.
Was it people in the
Yeah,
station?
robot.
Oh, it's just a robot? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but still, that's wonderful.
At least we got up there.
Okay, great. All right, let's read responsibly in the English on the lower left. Light and darkness, night and day, we marvel at the mystery of stars. Together, moon and sky, sand and sea, we marvel at the mystery of sun. Twilight, high noon, dusk and dawn. Though we are mortal, we are creation's crown. Flesh and bone, steel and stone, we dwell in fragile temporary shelters. Grand steadfast love, compassion, grace, sustain us, God, our origin is dust. Majesty, mercy, love endure, we are but little lower than the angels. Resplendent skies, sunset, sunrise, the grandeur of creation lifts our lives. Evening darkness, morning dawn, renew our lives as you renew all time. Continuing now, on page 30 we have the Shema. Cover the eyes. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Let's read together the English paragraph you shall love. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day, you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. On page 32, in the middle of the page, on the left-hand side as well, the Michamocha. Michamocha, Ba'ilim Adonai. Michamocha, Medor Ba'Kodesh, Norati Lot, Osef Eleh, Malchutcha Rovanecha, Okeayam Lifnei Moshe, Zeilianu v'yamru, Adonai Imloch v'yolam v'ed. V'nemar, Kifat Adonai et Yaakov, U'gialo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Go'al Yisrael. Amen. On page 33, the top left, this is the prayer we say for the folks who are not well. If you have somebody you're thinking of, just call out their name and I will say Refuah Shlema, a quick and speedy recovery. Yes, Paul. Go, buddy.
Yes. Yeah, Jeffrey Stern, Sheila
Refuah Shlema.
Bergman.
Refuah Shlema. Okay. Yes, sir.
Rav Avraham Sachs.
Refuah Shlema.
Thank you.
Judy Kosnick.
Refuah Shlema.
David Sachs.
Refuah Shlema. Okay. Anyone else? I have a list. Sheila Bergman, Refuah Shlema. Jeffrey Stern, Refuah Shlema. Marcia Winota, Refuah Shlema. Wendy Kerrigan, Refuah Shlema. Kenny Roth, Refuah Shlema. Louis Ann Patricia Massey, Refuah Shlema. Rachel Spearer, Refuah Shlema. Martin Mentor, Refuah Shlema. Susan Cohen, Refuah Shlema. Joe Huerta, Refuah Shlema. Anyone else? Okay, let's read the English paragraph. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Yifros aleinu zakat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol haolam kulo. Amen. Page 34. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam. Eini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti li'olam, oti li'olam, oti li'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheish adonim asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam. Please rise, half Kaddish, bottom of 34. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yomad Yivrach Hirute, V'yamlich Malchute, V'chayet Kol Yom Echon, Uv'chayet Kol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Ba'agala, Uv'zman Kariv, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Li'olam Li'olam Le'olaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, Yitboar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudesha B'richu, Li'ela, B'nkol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Ta'amiran V'yalema, V'yimeru, Amen. The Amidah is 35b to 38. When you're done, you may be seated. If you haven't finished, please continue. Otherwise, we're on page 47. Midway down the page. This is where it says Chazan with Imahot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Oel HaGadol Gibor V'Nora Elyon Konei Shamayim V'Haaretz Gin Havot B'Dvaro V'Chayei Meitim B'Maro Oel HaKadosh Shein Kamohu Hameniach Liyamo V'Yom Shabbat Kosho Kivar Ratzah V'Haniach Lahem Kivar Ratzah V'Haniach Lahem V'Fanav Navo Yirav V'Fachad V'Notel Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid Ein HaBravo El HaHodot Adon HaShalom Mikadesh HaShabbat Uvoret Shevi Umeniach B'Kedusha Ve'amedu Shnei Oneg Zecher Nemaaseh V'Reshit. On page 48, we've got the full Kaddish. Yitkara v'yikara Shemei Rabbah Amen. Yalmad yivrach yerutei v'yimliach malchutei v'chayechon v'mechon uv'chayir chol beit Yisrael Agalav v'zman kariv imru Amen. Yishmei Rabbah mevorach Le'olam le'olam Yitporach Yitporach v'yishtabach v'yipoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh Yitadar v'yitalev yitalol shmei dekudesha b'rihu v'yelam en kol berchata v'shirata v'shbarata v'nechamata ta'amiran v'yalma v'yimru amen kabal tzlo ton avuton d'chai Yisrael kadam avuhon v'shmaya v'yimru amen Yehi shalom araba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimru amen Ose shalom imroma Uyase shalom aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Imru amen Yase shalom Shalom aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Yase shalom Shalom aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel V'yimru amen. All right, on page 49 is the Kiddush. Please rise.
Juice or wine? Yes. Juice? No, wine. Yeah, juice or wine?
Which is the one.
Juice or wine?
I think it's juice. Oh, I don't know.
Wine.
Okay, page 49. Savrim Arnan Rabbanan Rabbatai Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei pri ha'afen Amen Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu V'shabbat kadsho b'yava ratzon imchilanu Zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit Ki hu yom techila l'nekra'ei kodesh Sefer l'tzion Mitzrayim Ki lanu b'charta Yotanu k'idashta Mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kadshecha Yava uvratzon Inchaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat Amen. Chaim Shalom, sing please.
Shalom.
Thank you.
All right. We have the Aleinu on page 51. Would you
Now you
gentlemen
can make a
care to
speech.
open the
You have one.
Yes.
Isn't that what you said that people did?
Oh, I don't think that.
Yeah, that's
I like the wine though.
That's what he said they're supposed to do. But you have the right thing to make the speech.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol Latei gedula v'yotzer breshit Shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot V'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama Shelo sam malkeinu kahem V'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam Anachnu korim Mishtachavim umodim Lifnei melech Malchei Hamlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu noteh shamayim v'yosei haaretz Umoshe v'karo b'shamayim imahal U'shchinatu zo V'gavei miromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato Kakatu B'Torato V'yadatayom L'Hashevota El Levavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim Mima'al v'ya'aretz, v'ya'aretz, v'yitachat eno, v'nema, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, u'shemo echad.
Curtains and doors.
Am Yisrael Chai.
Thank you very much.
You know the song?
No.
Am Yisrael.
All right, the mourner's cottage. I'm asking everyone to please remain standing. We're doing this in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in the embattled state of Israel. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, amen. V'yalmad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chai yichon v'meichon v'chai v'chol beit Yisrael. V'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach v'yolamu le'el hayah. Yiporach v'yishtabach, v'yipar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei tekudisha b'richu, v'yelah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, ta'miram v'yolma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. V'seh shalom v'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen. All right, to those of you who've suffered loss, Hamakom yinachem etchem b'tosha arav alei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the Almighty comfort you with the rest of the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. I don't really have any announcements, but I want to welcome you all to Temple Shalom of Pompano Beach. And following the service, please exit the chapel, make a left, and you'll be in our rotunda, which I keep calling the pavilion. I'm sorry. The rotunda. And we do have refreshments. Okay? Page 54. Let's just do the old default tune.
Good.
Adon Olam Asher Holach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'chefzo Kol Asai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora V'hu haya v'hu oveh V'hu yiyeh b'tifara V'hu echad v'ein sheni V'hamshilo v'hachbira B'li reshit b'li tachlit V'lo ha'oz v'hamitzah V'hu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzur chevli v'yetzara v'hu nisi u'anosli v'nat kosi v'yomekra v'yahado afkid ruchi v'yetishan v'yahira v'imruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira. Please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat
In
Shalom.
May.
Shabbat
Shalom.
And
Shabbat Shalom.
and Shabbat, I mean Hanukkah here.
In case
So
the
Rabbi's
granddaughter
granddaughter was here, right?
Rabbi's granddaughter, 3 weeks ago.
I don't, I have it.
The little ones.
Oh, you're thinking of the cantor? The cantor had it, but he is no longer cantor.
Okay,
Before
you
you
have a nice memory.
Of course.
Not bad.
I don't recommend it.
When she's ready for the shot, her eyes are adding in.
From where?
There's a couple more.
Oh, you're legit.
There.
Sorry about your loss.
Okay, we'll go through
Yeah,
them.
I've heard of it.
Okay, the melody